Welcome to the modular tutorial for Vanguard. As changes are made to the game, sections of this tutorial will be updated, the old video taken down, and a new video put up. This will ensure that you're always getting the most up-to-date information and that there's no confusion about which tutorial to watch because there will only be one. Let's get started. Map objectives give the players something to fight over, promoting interaction. They provide a visual representation of which parts of the map are controlled by which team, and they provide locations for players to retreat to, allowing for more free movement throughout the map at less risk. The most abundant map objectives are called fortification points. Some are initially empty, others are occupied by Xel'Naga turrets that must be destroyed before being built upon. Others are occupied by a player's fortification structures or forts. It's important to note that forts and watchtowers that are initially on the map will not attack for the first few minutes of the game. This helps players to scout more reliably and provides opportunities to punish greedy opponents. Forts help to secure key locations on the map, give players a place to fall back to, and provide vision. A special structure called a watchtower is sometimes placed on a fortification point at the start of the game. These are similar to forts but have more vision range. The biggest map objective is the Xel'Naga Vault, which houses the Xel'Naga construct and is guarded by the Xel'Naga Guardians. Kill the Guardians, open the vault, and,
release the Kraken!
Use it to break down tough defenses and soak up damage while your army takes care of the rest. Remember that this objective is the most powerful way to cash in on map control. Be sure to use it when you have the chance. Each race in Vanguard has a combat spell, a healing structure, a fortification structure, and sometimes a fourth ability on the top bar and at the command structure. These abilities cost a varying amount of Xel'Naga energy. Xel'Naga energy is generated passively at a steady rate, but small additions of this resource can be acquired by killing Xel'Naga structures and units on the map. Workers produce automatically until full saturation and then stop. Workers still cost minerals, and their production can be toggled on and off. Gas structures don't require workers, so you don't have to worry about putting the correct number of workers in gas after worker line harass or when the structure completes. Just make sure there's a command structure nearby and the gas will mine automatically. Production structures in Vanguard tend to be more expensive than their StarCraft 2 counterparts. This means that base management will be made up of less frequent but more significant decisions. Combined with fast unit build times and high supply costs, armies are cheap to replace but expensive to grow. Current maps feature a main base with lots of resources and expansions with significantly less resources. This makes it easier to stage a comeback after losing an expansion, since each expansion represents a smaller portion of your total income.
1/4 portion.
In Vanguard, Terran and Protoss production structures provide supply. In addition, the supply is separated by production type. Barracks provide supply for barracks units and barracks units only. Stargates provide supply for Stargate units and Stargate units only, etc. This means that each time you build a production structure, you're altering the balance of your unit composition. Think carefully before you choose which production structure to build next, and scout your opponent's production to get a good idea of their potential. Vanguard's streamlined macro system gives players more time for tactics and fine unit control. Units in Vanguard tend to have higher hit points and lower speed, resulting in more back and forth gameplay. Vanguard's economy and production methods standardize army sizes, rewarding micro in fights and allowing more engagements to transpire without ending the game. With forts to fall back on and fewer fast, hard-hitting units, retreat is a real option for players at all skill levels. Winning fights or out-positioning your opponents yield tangible rewards such as territory and powerful map-specific weapons. Micro itself is simple and intuitive. Many special abilities in Vanguards are passive, so most of a unit's identity and power comes from the way it moves and attacks, rather than active abilities. Finally, a major factor that adds to the feeling of Vanguard combat is the pathing and unit AI. Vanguard units tend to spread out a bit more and maintain their current formation more easily. Through these and other subtle factors, the depth of micro is preserved and players can gain major advantages through superior control. In the beginning of a game, players are given the choice of which commander to play. Each commander offers a different set of units and abilities. For example, General Warfield features tough positional units, where Jim Raynor tends to have more mobile and flexible units. It's important to stress that commanders are not playable hero units.
Cast it into the fire!
Vanguard has a different take on invisibility in an RTS. Though there are a few exceptions, most units are hidden instead of fully invisible. For example, the Lurker has Hidden 3. This means that an enemy unit must be within 3 range of the Lurker to reveal it. Otherwise, it's invisible and untargetable. Detectors are still an important tool in helping deal with hidden units effectively, but your game is not completely hopeless if you find yourself up against hidden units without them. This turns the binary situation of whether or not a player has detection into one with more gradients of success. A battle against hidden units without a detector will be less cost-effective than one with a detector, but the player with hidden units will not always win outright or force an instant retreat. Hotkeys in the StarCraft 2 engine are different for every arcade game you play, but there are several invisible links between campaign and multiplayer and each arcade game. Because of this, we strongly encourage all players to create a new hotkey layout for Vanguard. This way you can easily switch between game types without encountering unbound keys. In Vanguard, you start the game with your race's scouting unit on the field. These units are cheap, cost-effective, and take up no supply, but they are weak in combat and limited in the number you can have out at a time. If you've been looking for an accessible RTS, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Vanguard.